right, cool. We good. My bad, man. TikTok was being weird. I'm not sure what
Are you good?
that problem was. But yeah, go ahead. We got I'm put 25 minutes on the clock and go on and talk to me, man. What you got?
So, one question before we start.
Mhm.
So, if I were to show you 100% evidence that my God is real, would you worship him? Yes or no?
No.
No, why not?
Because just because it exists doesn't mean I have a reason to worship it.
So, you wouldn't worship it even if it was real?
Even if it was weird, yeah, I want to worship it and I have no reason to worship it. And furthermore, if you are you talking about the God of the Bible?
Yes.
Yeah, if it's a God of the Bible, I'm definitely not worshiping it.
Okay, so no matter what I say, no matter what I do, there's nothing that could change your mind.
No, I would change my mind and acknowledge that it exists, but that doesn't mean I will worship it.
Well, in the same way, if you were to show me 100% evidence that my God isn't real and I choose to worship it, that would make me delusional.
Probably.
In the same way that would make you delusional if I were to show you 100% evidence that my God is real.
No, it wouldn't make me delusional.
It
I would
would, because you're
just
denying the
because,
truth.
right? No, I wouldn't deny I wouldn't deny the truth. I would say that yeah, sure, it exists, but that doesn't mean I need to worship it. Like if I were to show you 100% truth that the God of my grandmother, Izuli or Ogun or Shango, the God of my Haitian ancestors, if I were to show you 100% truth that they were real, you probably wouldn't worship them either.
I would, because they're 100% real. If you were to show me 100% evidence, yeah, I would worship it,
Why?
because it's the truth. If you show me evidence, if it's the truth, it's the truth. If it's the truth, I would worship it.
Okay, my wallet is real. It's the truth. You gonna worship this?
Okay, you just show me your wallet is real. Your wallet is not a God. There's difference.
Right, but it's real and it
Yeah,
exists.
but it's not God.
So it is
A
real and
wallet, a
exists. So
wallet and
worship
God
it.
are two completely different things.
All right, but what I'm saying is that's special pleading. Just because something exists doesn't mean you need to worship it.
But God is needed to be worshipped,
How? Why is God needed to be worshipped
because
if it's already God?
because if I were to show you evidence, God made the whole universe.
So what?
So what? He made you, he made me, he made everyone on this earth.
So
So he needs to be worshipped.
no, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does. Well,
Why?
guess what? He gives you a free will to worship him or not. So that's the beauty of
Right. So I don't need
Christianity.
to do it.
Yeah,
If he gave you the
that's your
free
free
will to
will.
worship it or not,
That's your
I
free
don't
will,
need to do it.
you'll be separate from him.
All right, cool. Why would I? Why would I? Okay, I would actually want to be separate from
Okay, that's your
a
choice. That's
being.
your free will. That's why God gives
Right.
you a free will.
Cool. And I would want to be separate from a being that promotes slavery, genocide, captive war brides, things like that. I
Nowhere
would
in the
want to be
Bible
separate
does it
from that.
condone that.
Hmm?
Nowhere in the Bible does it condone that.
Oh, you wanna? Which one you wanna hit first?
You want to do slavery?
Yeah, let's do slavery,
So the greatest miracle is the second greatest miracle is Exodus, which is freeing the slaves.
which is not proven. But let's go ahead and read what the Bible says. So Leviticus 25:44 to 46. As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you and from their families who are with you and have been born in your land. They may be your property. You may keep them as your possession for children after you, from them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves, but as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over each other with harshness. So basically, you can go ahead and make foreigners, people slaves, but your fellow Israelites, no, they're fine. They're good. They're from your nation. So ethnic slavery is all good with the God, the Bible. Why should I worship that?
So what you're doing is you're taking the Bible out of context. See, what you're thinking is slavery. You're thinking of slavery as Civil War slavery. No, slavery back then was different than Civil War slavery. That's not the slavery that you think it is.
Okay, so in Civil War slavery, were people owned for life?
Or people own for life.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And were people considered possessions?
But guess what? Most of the slaves are
Were
Christian.
people considered possessions?
Why would a
Were they
slave be Christian?
considered possessions? Yes or no?
Were they? Yes, they were considered possessions.
Okay,
But the
so you
slavery
may
back then
acquire them from the
but
among
that's
the
not
aliens
Civil War
residing among
slavery.
you, from their families who they're born on your land. They may be your property. You may keep them as possessions for your children after you. From them, you should inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves. So yeah, they
Those
were
are no,
possessions
that's
for
not the
life.
slavery that you think. It's actually indentured servants.
No, this is not indentured servitude. The verses from indentured servitude are about 3-4 verses before this. These are talking about the foreign slaves. The Israelites were indentured servitudes. These foreigners were slaves and it clearly
Okay,
says,
so even if I were to tell you the context, you wouldn't even listen to me because you said
bro,
yourself
I've
you wouldn't.
read this and I've read the context. The few verses before this are about intentions. Where's the context where it says that are not property? Because you agreed with me that being that chattel slavery back in the civil rights days was being property and being a slave for life. This is saying so you can make people as property and slaves for life. So what is the difference?
What's the difference between what?
This verse in Leviticus says that they're property and they're slaves for life. The Civil War chattel slavery, they were considered property and slaves for life. In Civil War chattel slavery, it was ethnic based. This is also ethnic based because it says that the foreigners you treat as slaves, not your fellow Israelites. So it's ethnic based, they're property and they're slaves for life in both scenarios. How is it different?
How is it different? You gotta read the context, brother.
What is the context of being owned for life for your ethnicity
Listen,
and enslaved for
I
life?
don't know the context between that, but there is a context in that, and the Bible never condones it.
But it just says that you can do it. This is God speaking to the Israelites. All right, how
Okay,
about let's try another one. Let's see. There's one in Deuteronomy. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 20:10 verse. Let's go Deuteronomy chapter 20 verse 10 to 16. When you draw near to a town to fight against it, offer them terms of peace. If it accepts terms of peace and surrenders to you, then all the people in it shall serve you at forced labor. Is slavery forced labor?
yeah,
Okay, so cool. Deuteronomy 20, verse 10 to 11, they they're fine with forced labor. That's
just
slavery
because the
right there.
Bible records it doesn't mean it condones it.
So because the Bible records it, doesn't mean it condones it, even though this was Yahweh speaking to the Israelites about what they do to other towns. You want to go to verse 12 where it says to capture war brides?
Listen, bro, you can't call God evil when you don't believe in a God.
Is slavery evil?
Yes, but you can't call God evil if you don't believe in a God.
I can call Voldemort evil. I don't believe in Voldemort.
Well, you can't call anything evil if you don't believe in a God, because
Yeah, I can.
without God, you can't call anything evil.
Yeah, I can.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can. I can come up with my own personal
You
definitions and
can't. You
morals of
can't
evil.
tell me that murder is evil without God, because
Sure, I
otherwise
can.
it's just a preference.
Yeah, it is a preference. We prefer not to die. So yeah,
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I don't care what your morals are. I think murder is okay.
fine,
If
but
you
no one
believe in no
agrees with me.
God, then
Right, but the most majority of our society will not agree with you. So
okay,
if you do that,
but
you
it's
will
just
go
a
to jail because it
preference.
has a negative. These have negative consequences. No
It's just a
society
preference.
survives.
You think that there's no God.
No society survives for long with people going around murdering others, which is why we don't do it.
Okay, but you can't call it evil then.
Sure, I can. I can call it evil
No, you can't.
because you're
You have
ending
no
the
right. You have no
you're
basis to call anything evil without
Yes,
God.
I do. The basis
No,
that
you
I have
don't.
calling it, the basis I have calling it evil is the amount of harm that it caused. If you were to murder me, I have family who cares about me. I have children who care about me. I have friends who care about me. And if you do that, you will harm them. Not only that, you end my entire experience forever, and I will never come back. That is the
Okay.
ultimate sacrifice. That is the ultimate violation.
Okay, but I don't
So
think it's
yes, it
evil.
is harmful and therefore evil because of the amount of harm that it caused.
Okay, but I don't think it's evil according to your worldview. It's not
That's
evil.
fine. You don't think it's evil, but according to my worldview, it is evil, and
Okay,
according
it
to our
doesn't matter what you
society,
say. But guess what?
it would be evil. It wouldn't matter to God either, because you just said I have free will. So why would I care what God says?
What would you care what God says?
Mhm.
You don't have to, but you can spend eternity separate from Him if you don't believe in Him. Yeah, that's your choice.
Right. So that gives me no reason to care either.
Okay, you can be separate from Him. That's your choice.
Right. What I'm
That's why
saying
God
is
gives you a free will.
that still gives
You
me no
think God
reason.
wants to force you to be with Him for eternity? No, He wouldn't
What you're
force you.
saying, hold on, Justin. What you said was that I can't determine if things are evil without a God, because under my worldview, there's no reason to care. Under your worldview, there is no reason to care either, because I can just say screw you, God, and not want to be with them.
No, what I'm saying is you can choose to be separate from Him. That's your choice. What
Right.
I'm saying is without God, you cannot say anything's good or evil, because without God, there's no morality.
All right, let's go. Let's say well, that's ridiculous to me. There is morality, but let's go ahead and go with what you're saying. There's no morality. Are there good and bad consequences? Are there positive consequences and negative consequences?
Yeah, there's negative consequences. There's consequences to your actions. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. So we prefer to not have negative consequences. And those negative consequences is what we put the label of bad, or if they're very, very negative, we put the label of evil on it. Right.
Yeah. And why is that?
Exactly.
Because of God.
No, it's not because of God. It's
Yeah.
because that's what, as human beings, we have language and human convention. So if something has a negative consequence, we call it bad, and it has a very, very negative consequence, like the consequences of it are extremely negative. We label it as evil. So even as a human convention, I can label things as evil if I want.
Okay. But I don't think it's evil.
You don't think it's evil to
See, it's
murder?
just a preference.
Yeah, but it's a negative consequence, is it not?
Okay, but it's just a preference whether you like broccoli or asparagus.
But is it block-eared asparagus don't have negative consequences? Is
Okay,
it a
but it's
negative
just a preference.
consequence?
I prefer to murder people.
Right. Does that preference have negative consequences?
Does it have negative consequences? Yeah.
So I put the label of bad on that consequence, so I can still
Okay,
determine things
that's
are
your
bad.
opinion, but I don't think it's bad.
Okay, what label would you put on? Oh, you don't think it's bad? Okay, so you can murder babies then.
Yeah, according to your logic, yeah.
Nah, not according to my logic. According to
Yeah,
your logic.
because
According
you
to
don't
my
believe in
logic,
God, so you don't
no,
think anything.
just
You
no,
can't
no,
call anything
Justin,
good or evil.
Justin, you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening. Listen to what I just said, right? Let's say according to let's say I throw out the labels of good and evil and I just put things as negative consequences or positive consequences. Murdering babies has negative consequence. Why would I support negative consequences in a society where we have social interdependence? Why would I do that?
Why would you do that? Why would you do a murder babies?
Right. You said under my worldview, murdering babies is fine. However, I'm a being that lives with other beings and we have social interdependence. Murdering babies has negative consequences in within the society and social interdependence. So why would I not mind murdering babies? Why would I be fine with that?
Because you don't believe in a God. So if you don't believe in a God, you can't say that's evil.
You didn't listen to me, did you?
Yeah, I
We
did.
still live in listen, okay, Justin, do we live in a society?
Yes.
Do we have social interdependence?
What do you mean by that?
Social interdependence means that we depend on one another. Even if I don't know you, you could be across the
Okay,
planet
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
We depend on one another. So to depend on one another in general, it's probably preferable that we all get along, right?
Yeah,
If I go around murdering babies, if 100,000 people go around murdering babies, would it what would happen to society? Will we all get along?
probably not. But that's just a
Exactly.
preference.
So what my thing is, you said that under my worldview, I wouldn't mind that. I would mind that because under my worldview, I depend on everybody else. We have social interdependence. Murdering babies will is counterproductive for our society. So why would I want that? I
Why would
wouldn't.
you want? I'm not saying you would want to do that. I'm just saying
That I
in your
wouldn't mind,
worldview.
but I would mind because I live in a society where if we were to do that, society would collapse.
Well,
So it's not preferable.
what I'm saying is that you think in your worldview it's just a preference. I mean, maybe you don't want to do that, but maybe other people will.
There are
You
people who
don't
want
think
to
that
do
would be
that. What do
evil
we
because
do
you
to
don't believe
them?
in a God.
But there are people who want
You
to do
can't
that. What
call
do we
it
do to them?
evil because God is the one that gives us
I
morality.
I can call it evil, and the reason why I can call it evil is because like we have language, and if the consequence of something is very very negative, the language I use for that is to call it evil.
Okay, just because there's a consequence doesn't mean it's evil. It's just
Okay,
a preference.
so it was
According
God's
to you, it's just a
preference.
preference.
So it was God's preference to murder babies then.
Well, which passage? Are you talking about Moses when Pharaoh decided not to let the slaves go?
And who made Pharaoh not let the slaves go?
Who made Pharaoh not himself?
No,
He
it
didn't
wasn't
want to let the
himself.
slaves go
The verse clearly said that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. So it was God who made him not let the slaves go.
because his heart was hard. He didn't want to listen.
No, God said
There's no point in
God
making
made
him
his
listen
heart
because
hard.
his heart was too hard.
God made his heart hard.
Okay,
According to the passage, it was God who made his heart hard.
but Pharaoh didn't listen.
He would have listened, but the
No, he
verse
wouldn't
clearly said
listen.
it clearly says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart, which
Okay,
means
you
that God did that to him. He would have listened if God didn't harden his heart.
okay, but what? Why are you calling God evil when he literally is the creator of life? He can literally take life when he wants.
So we're going with the fallacy of the tyrant. Basically, he can do whatever he wants.
Okay, I give you $20 every week, and I choose to not give you $20 one week. That's okay because I'm the one giving you $20.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
20
Same with God. He can take any
$20
life away if he wants to.
$20 is not a sentient being.
Okay, but God created the whole universe, so He can do whatever He wants.
Right. That's special pleading, my man.
Okay, He created everything.
Yeah,
He
and
can
that's
take
special
life
plead.
when He wants to.
If your argument is that God can be a petulant child because he feels like it, that's a pretty like shitty God. I'm not gonna worship that.
Okay, that's up to you. You can be separate from Him.
Right. But what I'm saying is that the God that you're explaining right now is just a petulant petty child.
Okay, that's your choice. You can call Him that if you want, but you can
That's what
choose
you
to
just
be.
described.
Okay,
God's supposed to be all loving. That's what at least what I learned
yeah,
when
He
I
is
was in
all
church.
loving.
All right. So if he's all loving, why would he just take away life because he feels like it?
Why? No, He doesn't take away life for no reason. He takes away life because that's a consequence for your actions.
That's a consequence for our actions. Okay, great. So when let's see, what did uh what did the women do to call be raped basically?
What?
Okay, so God allowed women to be raped. What was
No, yeah.
the Yeah, he did. God allowed women to be raped when he was cursing David. He allowed women to be raped. So what was what did they do to for that?
So you're asking why God allows unnecessary suffering?
Not just unnecessary suffering, he literally caused them to be raped.
Okay, that's not God's fault.
How is it not God's fault if he's the one causing it?
Okay, think of it like this: I hit you, and I go blame God. I'm a con artist and I'm a liar.
No, you're the one who hit me, but God didn't make you hit me. I'm saying in this scenario, God made you hit me. Why would I not blame him?
He didn't. He allows he allows. I don't know why he allows unnecessary suffering. That's what we don't know. No one can answer that question why he allows unnecessary suffering. But what I do know is when we sin and destruction came into this world,
Okay,
which is
let's read let's read
what
2
David did.
Samuel. Let's read 2 Samuel 12, 8 to 12. Okay. I gave you master's house and your master's wives into your bosom, and gave you the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had to be too little, I would have added to as much more. This is God talking to David after David slept with Bathsheba and murdered Uriah the Hittite, right? So right here he says, now therefore the sword shall never depart from your house, for you have despised me and taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Thus says the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take you your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel in broad daylight. So the women weren't choosing to be slept with by these men. David's son Absalom went ahead and took David's wives and basically raped them on the temple in front of all of Israel. And this is something that God
Okay,
caused.
that's the consequence for your actions. That's what
What
David
did the
gets
women do?
when he goes against God.
But what did the women do, Justin?
That okay, that's his consequence.
Why are the women getting this consequence? Yeah, sure, David, I'm sure, have gotten consequence, but why are the women being raped because of what David did?
You can't question what God does
Why
because
not?
he made the whole universe.
So
So if he
my
made
mom
the whole
gave
universe, he
my
can do
mom gave
whatever he
birth to me.
wants.
I can still question what she does, can I?
You can what?
My mom gave birth to me. I can still question what she does.
Well, the difference is your mom isn't God. She didn't
So
create the whole
what?
universe.
So
What do you mean?
what?
So what?
That doesn't matter.
It does
Let's
matter.
say let's say that God did create the universe. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna add up Iowa here. Iowa, I'm gonna add you up right now, okay? Because I know you want to talk for a few minutes.
Oh, great. 2v1. Great.
No, it's not 2v1. I swear I'll be quiet. So let's say you're correct. God created the universe. Cool. So what?
Okay. So he can take life whenever he wants.
Just because he says so.
Yeah. Because he
So
created the
God
whole
is a
world.
so God is a tyrant.
But every time God takes life, He has a reason for it.
Okay, so what was the reason that these wives of David got raped by his son? What was the reason for that?
Because that's the consequence for David's actions.
Yes, but David did the actions. What did the women do?
I can't question God. You can't question what He
That
does.
that doesn't answer my question. What did the women do?
Listen, God knows more than all of us. I don't know why.
Okay, great. Exactly. I don't know why either. So he caused people to get raped because David did something. That's pretty shitty.
Okay, but you don't know the reason. I don't know the reason. Only
The
God
reason
knows.
is because David sinned. So his
Yeah, that's
wives
His
get raped
consequence.
because
But I don't
David
know
sinned.
why. I don't know why He did that. I don't know.
Ayo, what you got?
Well, He's not
What you
evil.
got, Ayo?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm all right. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. You guys are having quite an interesting conversation.
Mhm. Yeah, we are. You can go ahead because there's about 5 minutes left. I'll move on to the next guest, and we'll go ahead and get it popping. Give me 1 second. Ernest, I do see you in the chat. I'm gonna let Iowa and Justin talk for a little bit, and then I'll bring you up. All right, Ernest. But my bad, Iowa. Go ahead.
Oh, you're
Crap.
absolutely fine.
Justin left.
Yeah, he didn't seem to really. He didn't seem to enjoy that.